Hello and welcome to this video about Pedagogy for Transformation and Evolution. My name is Harriet Fagerholm and I'm a teacher, a co-creative guide and a healer.
Hello, my name is Victoria Subirana. I'm from Spain, but I spent 30 years of my life working in Nepal with the destituted children and their families.
The topic for this video is to introduce Ensemble for Evolution, which is one of the most important practices in Pedagogy for Transformation. And I have been using it now myself during 1 week only, and it has already made a huge difference in my own daily life. So Victoria, what are the principles of Ensemble for Evolution?
The principles of Ensemble for Evolution that took a new name, because when I was working with this material, with this exercise, with this activity in the schools, it was morning assembly, gathers the children of the school and the community around, parents, shopkeepers, other members around, even some people from the education sector can come and join the ensemble. And it's a half an hour concentration on the thoughts that we want to materialize. The first idea is that a thought first becomes an expression, verbal expression, and then if you work in the proper way and using the right tools, it materializes as an accomplished objective. This is giving a very important tool and a great discovery to the young minds, to the young children, to know that they are the creators and the architects of their own lives. And they are no longer at the mercy even of the school curriculum, nor are at the mercy of the fashion tendencies and trends or the education of their parents, but they are the ones opening up their hearts and their minds to the new outcome, because they acknowledge how the mind functions, and we are giving through this tool the freedom to the end of the sorrows, the end of the painful experiences, and the key to the real happiness. And it's all about giving half an hour a day the chance for them to experience how every thought, if you work on it, can become the embodiment of a fact that comes to a practical level. So the first thing we do, we sit in a very calm position where the children get free of tensions and they are focused on what they went to the school for. What am I doing here? What is my main principle of coming here? So they get focused. But similarly, we should not forget that there are parents also there attending the, ensemble. There is the entrepreneur. They might be people working in the sector of the administration, that they are also adults working with children with the same potential of the mind and setting up objectives that will be materialized. So they work there nicely, focusing what is my accomplishment today. So the first thing is to set up an objective to improve the self, because we all have areas in our character, in our habits, in our practices that need improvements. And we have to dedicate the time. In the schools, I was never given the time to think and to reflect and to investigate whether or not I had empathy towards others, if I was receptive of the information, or I had a very big egocentric character that did not allow to receive, if I had the ability to forgive, if I was consistent, if I had the capacity of concentration, if I had compassion, if I was grateful, never ever a teacher or even my parents or the society or the program in the television gave me the time and the space to analyze who I was and if I was happy or not, and gave me the tools to change my personal behavior. I inherited the character and I inherited the habits from my families, from my society around, the schools, the leaders that they were not perfect on that. And then I was never given the chance to think how I am and how I want to become. Should I quit that bad habit of lying? Am I a liar? I am a thief. Can I change this habit? How do I improve myself first? And no longer, when you work in that way, you escape from your own responsibility of becoming the person you want to be. You cannot say, oh, because you know my family, the Subiranas, with the Subiranas, Victoria Subirana, the Subiranas, we are very stubborn. No. The Subiranas, we are very lazy. No. There is no such a thing as inherited habits when it comes to work with the development of your mind. You decide who you want to become by working every day and taking responsibility for your own actions with the freedom of thinking. Then you sit there, think about yourself. There is a trained teacher, a trained master who will guide you in a serial of exercises, focusing your mind, your thoughts, your inner words, and your breathing into the achievement you want to acquire. And then after that, we move to the family objective. Why the family? Because we might be very accomplished doctors. We might become extraordinary architects. We might turn to be the most successful politicians, even we achieve being the prime minister of a country. But that prime minister, when it comes to honesty, he might take the money of public property for his own personal benefit. The doctor, he might end up trafficking in the organs market and trading with the human lives. And there could be the police or the head of the police department who himself consumes cocaine. So what is the use of having such a beautiful and wonderful curriculum in which mathematics, language, geography, and many other subjects have been mastered when the most important qualities of humans have no place in our learning scenario of the schools of the 21st century anymore? Now you can be a very accomplished professional, but if you are not an accomplished human being, you will end in a very, very dramatic scenario, especially with your families, because you go back to your family and then you behave like an animal, like someone who has no mercy for anybody, an egoistic, egocentric. And then you don't learn how to become a good son, a good daughter, a good father, a good grandchild. Then what is the use of getting so many useless subjects, and the most important subject that everybody has to learn, they are not being taught? Secondly, the family you are given is something that you cannot choose. And that is where ego plays a big role. The acceptance of, there are things in our life and in our surroundings and in the nature, in the cycle of the, stations, the spring, summer, autumn. We cannot choose whether we want tomorrow the summer station ending and the winter starting, whether we want a cloudy day or we want Even we cannot choose the day we want to die. At the moment of death, nobody will come and ask you, you want to die today or you want to die tomorrow? There are things in life that have been given to us and we have to accept, and man has no power over many laws, in universal laws. No matter how many discoveries we did, the most important discoveries are yet at the door, and there is no key, there is no entrance. Now, family has been given to us by some unknown laws of the universe. And those families very often create immense suffering to us because they are very different from us. We don't have the same character. We are getting time and again problems created by the family members, one another. So we, have the tendency to hate each other. We have the tendency to be separated from the family members. We have the tendency to say, no, because my families, are other people that I have created, and those families are just biological, but the real family is somebody else. Excuses. The school no longer can ignore the importance of generating, the power of accepting the families that we live in. This information has to be passed upon the children, and the children, they have to go back home thinking that I have the power of living happily with my family members, and I have the powers to create a better understanding amongst the members of my family, and I have the powers to accept the differences among my family members with love and comprehension, and helping them to come across to a united circle. Like I always think that the family is like a circle that in which you are in the middle of this circle. If the family is united, you feel protected, you feel love, you feel that you can go home, and you feel going back home because you are there where it's that moment where you can give up everything, whatever traumas from the outside world, work, school, society, and you relax there with the ones who are there for you and stand, at any moment for you. This is the impression of someone who is working on the acceptance of the family on the daily basis and constructs the family that he or she decides to construct. It gives an emanation of self-security, self-esteem, protection. But the families which are not working on these principles, the circle opens up, but opens up for your enemies even to come in. So when you have problems in the outside of your family, at your workplace, in the school, in the society, very often, those who are not protected by the love emanating due to the solid relations with your family members, you emanate disaster, you emanate being vulnerable to the world, and your enemies will come inside your family, join forces with your family members who do not like you, and then there you are in a big disaster, in the most chaotic sentiment of loneliness and despair. So the second objective will be observing and analyzing why my family members are like that, why they come to attack me, why they are not like me. Very often the most important virtues and achievements in the spiritual arena come from the acceptance of the limitations of our family members and working to accept them and to achieve the kind of understanding that will allow me, will enhance me to have certain level of relationship. If it's not 100%, I will accomplish 80% of relationship, and otherwise 50% of relationship. maybe 40% of relationship, but with full acceptance that love has to prevail. Love comes first. Understanding of the mind comes later. This is intellect, but we have to work with our families with heart. So now the children will be there every day analyzing their families and coming up with objectives like, although I do not share the character of my brother, I accept him. Or when my father exercises violence against me, I will not return that violence back, and so forth. So you learn to carry your own family objectives up to the limit you want. Then third, you go to the third objective. That objective has to do with the creation of a new environment. Let's say working place, the school of the children, the neighborhood, the city where you live or the town, the country or the world. So when we plan for our happiness, we include others in our plans. And every day we are given the opportunity to look around and identify the necessities around us, so we become empathetic with the problems around us, with the suffering of others, with the changes that could be for a positive, progressive world, the world we want to live in. Otherwise, we are requested to be empathetic, we are requested to be progressive, but we do not have the time and the environment to think about it. And we focus and we pick one of the objectives to create a better world. And we work on it. We work with full attention and with the guidance of the master. And then slowly, slowly, we understand that changes are possible. And are possible because we bring them into a concrete level of existence in such a way that your objectives no longer is something intellectual here, but from your first thought of improving some area of the three I mentioned, that objective goes to your agenda. So you write down, today I have to work on my personal objective and I have to do this, that, and that. As concrete as when you plan to go for a dentist appointment, you have to reach to that level of concretion. Or on Tuesday, I have decided to do this to my mother, for her to be happy. Or every Friday, I will do that for my community, and this is a must. And because I acknowledge that there was a need for my contribution to the community so I can create the future world I want to live in, this is in my agenda, it's part of my agenda. And finally, when all the children have realized which kind of changes they want to produce, they will open their eyes. And then if they want, they are free to share. So then what happened with this powerful tool? That no longer working for the achievement of something that you don't have or you are not. Like, from tomorrow, I have decided I will get up early. So when you get up early, it's because you are working on your consistency, without my mother, having to come and put the alarm watch. I will be responsible for my own growth. And when you have decided to do that, and you stand in front of an audience, and you, first of all, you acknowledge that you have been lazy, you have not been consistent, no longer you feel guilty about it, because this is a learning subject which you are going to achieve, and your colleagues, your friends are not going to point to, oh, look, you are lazy, you are not consistent, you are not good. No, it becomes a part of the learning environment. And your colleagues instead of making fun of you, they will be able to help you in your achievements. The same way, when you don't know, the multiplication tables, your friends will come then and might give you a hand. Then if you work in that way, you can give the environment, the proper environment for the children, not to be ashamed of their mistakes, but to take it as a learning, any other learning subject. You can never force a child to share an objective that he or she doesn't want to share. But most likely the children, they love doing that, and they take it like something very easy. There is no shame, there is no guilt. You don't feel guilty for not having achieved something that you have not practiced. Then there are another two very important subjects. One is the asking for forgiveness. There is a moment where the children stand there and they say sorry to someone or sorry for something they have committed. Then when in the classroom there is a problem with a group or with two children, the teachers, they have a tool to refer for the Ensemble for Evolution. For example, tomorrow, you, Christina, might come up with an objective for the damage you caused to your friend because you had an issue. So tomorrow you will, in the morning, Ensemble for Evolution, you'll be there to settle whatever problems you have. So many times we are asked to say sorry for something, but sorry is a learning process. You don't learn to say sorry if you are not used to, because it has to do with the ego and the shame, and inferiority complex. Moreover, we always end up the sessions by paying gratitude to something. So I say, is there anybody who would like to say thanks for anything? In many occasions, we are not aware of how many things we are taking for granted and how difficult the work of the people, the commitment of the people around us, with little things that we don't pay attention, even to ask thanks, to say thanks for a meal when they serve you the meal. How difficult to go and make the list of, to go for the supermarket, bring it home, then cut the vegetables, cook the rice, make the food, set up the table. My God, if all those little actions are being acknowledged every day by the children, we will create children that, rather than complaining about what they don't have, they will be grateful for what they got. And then there is where abundance comes in. So I am very happy to have shared one of the most powerful activities I have created due to the teachings of great masters in Nepal, Dunjam Rinpoche and Kiran Shankar and Mohammed Sharif, many other spiritual teachers that taught me different techniques. So I gathered them and I assembled them, I put them together. And thanks to that, I think thousands of children in Nepal who were deprived of the willpower of thinking in a free, in a free motion, that they were inducted, poisoning the mind, inducted into very archaic tendencies. Thanks to this tool, they have been able to get free of all the boundaries and become great professionals and human beings.
Yes, and as I said in the beginning of the video, I have been now practicing it together with my team here, and I see so many benefits. So my first intuitive thought, Victoria, was that if we can spread this practice, we could change the world with only 30 minutes a day. Yes. So this is our big goal of spreading this practice. There are several elements in it, like the ability to visualize and to really focus on your sensations in your body, so that you can go inwards of focusing your mind and to clarify your goals. As I noticed, that's a skill I have not learned either, to really make the goals you want to work for, both on the individual level, the level in your family, and in your work or in the society. That what are the goals? Because when the goals comes from your heart, you will also put love into your actions. When you yourself have decided what you want to do, and you know the reason why, and you feel the joy of contributing to the well-being of others, to the well-being of your family, and to the well-being of yourself. And what I feel is so powerful is these three levels, that first you work on yourself, because that's really the only place where you can really make a huge difference. You can change your attitude to almost everything. And most spiritual teachings are really about this. It's not about what happens to you, and that some might be easy to say, I know, but still it's about what you do with it. What are the lessons, and how can you transform your adversities into your strengths and assets? And with this practice, it's possible. And you get the support of the community as well. So there are so many good elements here, what I want to encourage everyone to learn. So thank you for being with us, and good luck with your practices.
Thank you.